Plaintiff Steve Veal met the defendant in a program called Team Challenge, where he spent some time fighting his addiction to drugs and women. Steve is suing because he allowed the defendant to drive his car, and he not only got red light violations on the vehicle, but he also crashed into a police car. Defendant Jerome Rutherford admits he was addicted to drugs, women, and gambling, and that's why he got involved in Team Challenge. Jerome borrowed Steve's car because he was on the run after his girlfriend attempted to attack him, and he assaulted her in self-defense. But he insists the accident was the policeman's fault. Jerome is countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, I know the defendant, Mr. Rutherford, from Teen Challenge up in Lansing, Michigan. Teen Challenge is a non-profit organization.
Recovery, right?
Problems, yes, sir.
Drug problems.
Yeah, drugs, alcohol, gambling, anger management. Yes, sir. I was one unfortunate guy that was out here using drugs and chasing women, and I had that wonderful opportunity to get my life together. It's a wonderful program for 13 months. However, during that time, I met one Mr. Jerome Rutherford.
It's one of the better ones in the country, too, because of that, because it lasts so long.
Yes, it does.
I'm confident that you're doing well. It's a good program.
Quite well.
Go ahead.
Mr. Rutherford and I had an opportunity to work together throughout the program doing building maintenance. He's a very good worker, and we had that chance to kind of gel together. Mr. Rutherford left the program. I continued on the program, graduated, and then stayed on for an extra year to give back to the program.
You left early, sir?
Yes, sir.
How many months were you there?
11.
Go ahead.
I returned here to Chicago and got up with Mr. Rutherford because people in Team Challenge, we keep in touch with each other. So we got together, and he did a little work for my moms, and I did some work for his moms. We're both maintenance people. So I let him use my truck occasionally, to do what he has to do, no big deal. So it came around in May, mid-May, somewhere around. I get this notice for traffic ticket.
Let me get some background from you, sir.
Yeah, like you said, we met in Teen Challenge, so I had several addictions myself, not only drugs, women, gambling, had a lot of addictions myself. And like you said, we jailed together, we did a lot of praying together. Teen Challenge is an excellent program. Got back to Chicago, we was doing work with each other, so yeah, that's true.
Sir, are you sure you're recovered? You're giving me the impression that you're not. Your posture, the way you talk.
No, actually, I'm a little nervous.
The way you look. Yeah, you don't look very recovered either today.
Oh, okay.
Is he relapsed to your knowledge? All right.
Well, only by what the police had to say.
Oh, okay. And tell me, what happened here?
Mr. Rutherford, I've got a letter here. Start getting these letters for these red light tickets. And I brought it to his attention after the first one. He said,
running red lights.
Right, that's what it says here, red light violation.
Let me see what you have.
He's in the car by himself.
You brought it to his attention. And what did he say?
He says, oh yeah, I did it. I got you, don't worry about it. I said, okay, cool. So it just got to a point where I've gotten another one. Then I had two of my own. So now my truck is boot eligible.
Boot eligible.
Yeah.
That's a new way to put it. Boot eligible. All right.
So
go ahead.
I'm steady sweating him now. Man, like I need that money. I just don't. I don't have it like that. And he said, I got you. Okay, cool. So he and his mother came by my house, and they needed to borrow the car. So since it's him and his mother, no problem. Okay, cool. Go ahead on. If you don't make it back Saturday, Sunday, where you gonna find me? At church. So make it in the evening. Okay, cool. He never showed up. He hasn't called.
You go to church here in Chicago?
Yes, I do.
Where?
I go to St. Paul CME Church at 47th Dearborn.
All right. So you told him you know where he'd find you in church on Sunday, as you always are.
No show Sunday, no hear from him. I'm trying to call him. I keep getting the answering service. Dead end. So approximately that following week, Tuesday or Wednesday, I call his mother. I spoke with his mother. She said, yeah, I got this knucklehead right now. I just got him out of jail. He gets on the phone and said, "You all right?" He said, "Yeah, man, I'm all right." I said, "Well, what about my truck?" "I have to buy you a new one." "You got to buy me a new one? What happened?" Hung up the phone. So, okay, I called him back. We gets into it again. "I told you I got to buy you another truck. Now just leave it at that." He hung up the phone. I called him back again, same story. So I says, he borrowed my truck. I didn't borrow his truck. So he should be trying to call me and tell me something.
Correct.
It didn't happen like that, Judge.
Let me hear from you, sir.
When he gave me the truck, he knew the situation I was in.
What situation was that?
Well, he knew I had a suspended license. He knew, and actually, my reason for getting the truck because I was on the run for the police. I had to move I had to move a lot of stuff, so I was moving around. And he knew.
Why were you on the run?
Actually, I got into with my girlfriend. I had a domestic. She tried to yank my thing out of socket, and I, just reacted. And I mean, I'm talking about. What's her name? Lorena Bobbitt. That's what I was thinking.
She tried to put Lorena Bobbitt on.
Lorena Bobbitt. It was that serious. So he knew I was going through a thing with this, so I was moving from back to forth, moving myself in the house because the police was looking for me. So he pretty much knew what he was doing.
These women in Chicago getting more and more vicious.
Yeah. Actually, she dropped the charges because she knew it was her fault. And I said, I can see myself getting locked up for something, for
Go ahead.
myself.
So what happened?
So the night in question, I was going to pick up a friend to get some money or whatever the case may be, and I got hit a police car in front of the police station with a warrant. So it wasn't my day that day. So. And actually, they turned it to me. And like I said, I did contact, during this last couple of weeks, I did contact. I didn't know nothing about, I knew about the 2 tickets.
You, sir. He says, whatever happened to the car, it's the police fault because they ran into him.
Yeah.
No. Well, Your Honor, I can't say I was not in the car with him. I did know of his situation as far as, going through some changes. Yeah, I did know about that.
Do you have a police report?
Yes, I do.
Do the police admit to recklessly driving?
Of course not.
Right.
Police department.
Okay, I have photos, Judge. Okay, this is the police report, and following that is 6 photos.
Let me look at the photos first. How the police department hit themselves in the door?
Actually, if you let me explain, if you got a diagram, I can show you exactly what happened. They turned in front of me while I'm going down a bus lane. I had a green light.
And you couldn't stop.
Right, and then the traffic was backed up. They don't see me coming, so they turned through 2 cars, and I got a green light, and they pulled right into the police station, and I couldn't stop. They turned into me.
Unit related that he pulled into a right parking lane to enter traffic and struck smelled of an alcoholic beverage on his breath, and he failed the breathalyzer test. You were drunk driving.
Well, I was considered drunk. I blew a 0.89. I had 1 beer. I wasn't even drunk.
That's not what this says, sir.
Well, they should take, be responsible for their actions too. Along.
Were they drunk too?
No, I wasn't drunk.
Okay. Were they drinking and driving?
There ain't no telling nowadays the Chicago police.
All right, but you had. That's telling. By the way, is that part of your recovery to drink?
Well, no, it's not part of my recovery.
Right. So it's a relapse.
Is that what you want to call it?
What you call it?
I was just drinking.
What do they call it in drug rehabilitation?
Well, that's what they call it.
Do they call it a relapse?
But
don't talk slick to me. Talking about it's whatever I want to call it. You the one been the dope fiend, not me. I've never been a dope fiend. You want to talk slick? Now, what's your counterclaim for, Slick? I can out-slick you. I ain't never been busted for none of that. Never hit the police in a car. Never been drinking and driving. Never got a ticket for that. Never been to rehab. Never had my woman try to cut me up below the waist. None of that. So talk slick to somebody who don't know the difference.
Actually,
Judgment for the plaintiff. I'm not going to sit here and listen to this nonsense. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
I still believe that he should be suing the Chicago Police Department because it actually was their fault. Matter of fact, I got their numbers, 911. You want to call them?
I don't know.
If that don't work, you go 411. It wasn't my fault, so I feel like I'm not responsible for that.
We're still gonna be friends. I'm not mad at it.
I think maybe if he had to call me then, maybe we wouldn't be going through this right now because he never tried to contact me.
He should have been trying to contact me. He was the one using my car.
What you called my mama for? I did. You knew what I was going through. Would you call my mom and them looking for me? My mama and my girl. grandmother, all them, you have my number.